closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex. But Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do. Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
After some amazing 3D Crash Bandicoot platformers, we wanted to see the marsupial in a handheld, so Vicarious Vision tried with two amazing entries on the old Game Boy Advance, Crash the Huge Adventure and Crash Entranced. Both were masterpieces that really showed what Crash Bandicoot is about, beautiful environments and great platforming. But which one is on the list?
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Well, let's analyze each one in detail. The Huge Adventure features Dr. Cortex shrinking the world with a machine, and Crash must stop him by collecting power crystals. On the other hand, Uka Uka and Trophy and Entrance brainwash Coco, Crunch and Fake Crash in Entrance, so Crash must stop them collecting power crystals. Yeah, when I say the series got repetitive at one point, I was fucking serious, but that's not important. Well, it's actually a tie. Yeah, both games have unique and original stories, really fun and classic gameplay, and fantastic level design. The best thing about it is that it's Crash on a handheld. That means you could defeat Cortex by the time you were done doing number 2. Yes, most video game mascots have to go from 2D to 3D, but Crash did it the other way around and he succeeded, while being able to keep the essence of its 3D games. Thank you Vicarious Vision for these great handheld masterpieces.
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Talk about a good first impression. Yeah, number 4 is the original Crash Bandicoot. This game is awesome and really important, not only because it started the series, because it broke the rules of its time. You see, during the 16-bit era, platformers were linear because of the 2D limitations. During the beginning of the 3D era, every company took advantage of this, creating big, non-linear overworlds. And then, people started wondering, would a linear game be bad? Well, Crash Bandicoot said fuck no, and demonstrated how a game can be linear while still being addictively fun.
Now see, that's pretty awesome. You should do more of that.
The game itself is wonderful, just wonderful. The levels were beautiful, although they didn't have much variety apart from the jungle, the river and the castle, but they were done pretty well. The boss battles were epic. From Reaper Roo to Embryo, it's almost impossible to decide which one is your favorite. And the graphics? Oh man, for 1996 PlayStation stock were some of the best graphics ever made. In conclusion, the original Crash Bandicoot was a great beginning for a great series, but it only showed a little bit of what this Bandicoot was capable of.
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
On the subject of the original Crash Bandicoot, I admit I had a few problems with it. It was linear, one-directional, the story was a Mario ripoff and Crash didn't do that much. It was a great game, but it could be better. And then is when we got Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. This time everything was better. Everything! Now instead of going through a direct path, you could choose the order in which you wanted to play the levels, and then fight the boss. This new way of playing perfectly fits the series. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Obsidious fan, you said you think that concept got old. Well, yeah, but it's kinda like the concept of Mario having to save Peach all the time. It's great, but a little change on the rules wouldn't hurt. So, back to Cortex Strikes Back. Now, instead of just jumping and spinning, Crash could slide, body slam and even dig. Cool! Also, in the original game, the only level variety you had was riding a hawk through a jungle. Now you can ride a polar bear cub, or escape from a giant polar bear, and even more. Most of the memorable characters from the series showed up in this game, like Coco Bandicoot, Crash's sister that nobody knows where she came from. And we saw some of amazing bosses for the first time too, like Tiny Tiger, Engine, or the Komodo brothers. And if you thought the original Crash Bandicoot looked awesome, look at this.
Whoa, nice graphics! I'd like to get my hands on that game.
This is a truly masterpiece. It was this game that showed us that Crash Bandicoot was going to be an entire franchise, but the question was, could it get better?
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Fuck yes, Crash Bandicoot could get better. With the third entry on the series, Crash Bandicoot Warped. Everything new we saw in Cortex Strikes Back was perfected in this game. Perfected! Instead of going through different environments in 3 tropical islands, now Crash can travel through time in order to stop Uka Uka, Aku Aku's evil brother. So now Crash could visit the medieval ages, the prehistoric era, or even the future. Oh my god! These new levels were perfectly designed, and the fun Crash Bandicoot gameplay we all know was still there. You know I love some variety in my Crash games. Well, Warped used the warp room system introduced in the last game to make you go into different and incredible levels. You can ride motorcycles, use a plane, ride a tiger cub with Coco, and more! Even more! And guess what? This game also introduced more epic boss characters. Some examples may include Dingodile, Entropy, and other great villains like Tiny Tiger and Engine return with even better boss fights. And this game looks excellent for its time too. The music, the designs of the characters and the environments look great and realistic. Overall, Crash Bandicoot Warp has an amazing concept, great graphic, epic bosses and the addictive gameplay of the series. And I know what you're thinking, how that it isn't number 1? Well,
Tell me what the heck to do, you know what I'm saying?
so you probably already know number 1, but let's recap just because I just happen to like recaps. Number 10, Crash of the Titans. Number 9, Crash Team Racing. Number 8, Crash Tag Team Racing. Number 7, Crash Mind Over Mutant. Number 6, Crash The Wrath of Cortex. Number 5, a tie between The Huge Adventure and Entranced. Number 4, the original Crash Bandicoot. Number 3, Crash 2 Cortex Strikes Back, and number 2, Crash Bandicoot Warped. I fucking love this game. A perfect example of how Crash was still awesome when he left Naughty Dog. It's definitely my favorite game on the franchise and one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, it was short and full of glitches that totally made it a bad game, especially since it was not made by Naughty Dog.
Do I detect a note of sarcasm?
Are you kidding me? This baby is off the charts.
Now let's get real here. If I had to make a top 10 about everything related to Crash Bandicoot, it would be always number 1. From music to character designs and bosses, this game has everything. But to understand, you must analyze to insanity in detail. First, the gameplay. Instead of using a warp room, you can access different levels in a big and colorful overworld. All the levels themselves are just plain beautiful, from a weird second dimension to an iceberg island. Each one has a lot of detail into them. Once you enter a level, you will have to do different things, like using Crash in your typical addictive platformer, use Cortex as a snowboard, or escape from something like a big giant walrus, okay. And this game has 2 new playable characters, Neo Cortex and his niece Nina, who control as good as Crash and are really fun to use. Their design, Crash design, and heck, everybody's design is perfect in this game. This is how Crash should look, Activision. The bosses in this game are, oh god, they are one of the best I've ever faced. From the Mecha Bandicoot to the epic Dingodile boss, trust me, you will fall in love with them. The music is possibly the best in the series. Wanna know why? All the music is made with human voices. Fuck yeah, they sound amazing. And even the story is original too. Instead of having Uka Uka or Dr. Cortex trying to conquer the world, Crash must join forces with the Doctor in order to stop a pair of evil parrots from another dimension. Now, I won't spoil anything, but the plot has a twist that not even Shyamalan could predict. I could go on and say,
I sure love that game.
But you just have to try it. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. It has amazing music, fun gameplay, hilarious humor scenes, and epic bosses. I'm Obsidious fan and Crash to Insanity is my favorite game in the Crash series. And before I go, I have a message for Activision. Stop making Call of Duty games and make something with Crash Bandicoot. He's not dead to me yet. I've seen Crash Nitro Kart 3D and they use to Insanity character models. I still have faith. Sell his right to Naughty Dog or Traveler's Tales. We need a new Crash game with classic platforming. I'm Obsidious fan. Thanks for watching.